As one could probably expect, there are many myths and legends surrounding the battleship Bismarck. These can range from, was she scuttled or did the British do the final blow, to, was she the most powerful battleship around? Most of these, and very specifically the second one, I can and will blame the late 90s and early 2000s History Channel for. The topic of this video, though, is one that can be laid at the feet of a member of Bismarck's own crew, which is actually more rare than you would think. And yes, the title is, in fact, a reference to a certain song by a certain group of Swedes. Listening to that while writing the Prince Eugen script got the idea in my head. This will be a short video, as the HSS title indicates. While I can probably do a more in-depth look at the cultural things in regards to ship gender, this one is focused entirely on Bismarck and the unique case of this particular battleship. Well, almost unique. There is another case here that I remember reading about some years ago. That being the Kaiser deciding SS Imperator needed to be called as male, which, well, Kaiser Willie, what else do you expect of him? That aside, as a very general rule, at least in English-speaking media, ships are going to be considered female almost universally. You'll note in most cases of watching ship videos that the narrator will say she in relation to the ship. This is a very English language thing that has become fairly universal, though by no means is the English language the only one to have this quirk. Even in languages with different gender rules, it tends to carry over a lot. Where it can sometimes get contentious, though mostly only in certain parts of the internet, is in regards to languages where a ship could be considered male under the rules of the aforementioned language. French, Russian, and German are go-to examples here. Even in these cases, however, it can vary depending on the type of ship, the name of the ship, and any number of other things. Enter Bismarck. You see, German is a funny language here. If I'm remembering what my German friends have told me, this largely depends on what pronoun you use, which changes depending on the ship class, or if you're talking about the ship or the person it's named after. The fun of das, die, and der that I remember from my high school German classes. Bismarck, I believe, is either female or gender neutral if you're talking about the ship and not the Iron Chancellor. Why is this important? Well, because you'll often see people, and it's almost always Bismarck here, try to use the language card to go, actually, she is a he. Any Germans in the audience, please clarify if I get anything wrong here. My high school German is spotty at best, and I'm relying on my German friends here, and I fully know different opinions are different and all of that. Now, the actual reason that Bismarck is sometimes called a he, especially in relation to the song, is that her captain insisted on calling her such. Reports from a survivor of the crew, his assistant in fact, mentioned that Lindemann insisted on him calling Bismarck a he instead of a she. Now, if it were language conventions, that would be one thing. But the actual reason, at least from what I've read and been told, was that Lindemann believed Bismarck was, and I quote, too powerful to be a female. So, yes, sexism. How quaint. That entirely aside, it's telling, I think. If the crew were going about referring to Bismarck as male for any reason, language conventions, the Austrian with a funny mustache telling them to, so on and so forth, then would her captain need to insist on calling the ship male? The very fact he's recorded as insisting on this, to me, says everything. If it was common practice, if anyone even cared, to call her male, Lindemann wouldn't feel the need to insist on it. More likely, it was common practice, if anyone even cared again, to call her female, and he wanted to change that. As such, calling Bismarck a he is almost certainly incorrect. Love the song, but still. Though I'm not the language police and can't force anyone to do anything, and I know some Germans are different about this compared to the Germans I know. That being said, this is just a short little fun video I decided to put together because I'm a bit tired and wanted to get something up anyway. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and I'll see you in the next one.